Welcome back to our coverage of the 1997 Coat Tyre Avon descent. You saw a waterfall, which is one of the ones close to Bell's Rapids. That normally is absolutely powering down this time of the year. Not much more than a trickle, an indication of just how low the river is and how little rain we've had. There is the first of the powerboats, and that is a shot live from our helicopter. They're coming up to Bell's Rapids, and I think from here, I can't see the number, I'm pretty sure that will be the craft of John Faull and Justin Ferguson. They've been leading pretty much from the outset in the powerboats in the 10 horsepower sport category, and although once again they've had to jump out, so there's really no rest until they get to that flat water. Darren Pratt, they're going to really have to work every centimetre of the way.
Absolutely not. As you can see in this overhead shot, there is just no way to get through this without jumping out of the boat and dragging over rocks.
What do they do with the engine? Obviously they put it into neutral, because and we've seen very few accidents with the powerboats. The safety record is superb, but obviously a reasonable amount of danger there as well.
Absolutely. One of the things they have is what's called a dead man switch, which is a cord going from them to the outboard, and as soon as they come out of the boat or jump out of the boat, it cuts off the engine. And you could see there when they got back in, them restarting the engine.
Okay, as I said, Faull and Ferguson have pretty much set the pace, and as Darren mentioned earlier, John Faull has also paddled the Avon descent, so he knows this river extremely well. So much with the powerboats is design, and these guys put an enormous amount of effort into creating their craft each year.
Incredible, the technology in these boats. You tend to think it's a dinghy, but if you look them up close, they're not. They're high-tech. I don't know how to describe them other than to say that they're like almost a sled. They're very sleek, very streamlined, and made out of very expensive materials. I'm told that a hull alone can cost somewhere up around $9,000 or $10,000.
So $9,000 or $10,000, and they're also using these boats at the front are in the 10 horsepower sport category. There is a standard category as well in the 10 horsepower, but the sport are significantly quicker, and also a special propeller has been designed. I believe guys at the Powerboat Club have got together, produced a special propeller, and specifically for the Avon descent to put up with the battering with rocks and the shallow water. They've got to weave their way around some of the craft, some of the paddle craft. Once these powerboats hit the flat water, they will absolutely fly and will swallow up many of the paddle craft. Will they be able to swallow up the leading paddle craft? At this stage, I'd say that's unlikely.
It would seem unlikely. Once they get to the flat water, though, they're going enormously quick. You can see them passing singles there to give you some idea of the relative difference in speed, but they are a long way behind.
Okay, now Bell's Rapids, in high water, the powerboats really churn through there. Darren, how do you think they'll handle the drop-off under the walkway here at Bell's?
I would imagine that they would be quite conservative. We see them coming around. I imagine they'll slow down and just under the main drop just to conserve their engine. They'd also be thinking they want to get to the end as soon as possible, but they also know they're leading and they don't want to do anything to risk the boat and risk winning outright.
Okay, so it's pretty much keep the craft intact, safety first, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything outrageous. Will they actually shoot the drop-off? Will they actually go through? Would you try even carry, which would take an enormous effort because it's a very steep bank, carry around?
I would imagine that, it looks like they might be going for a carry here, but I would imagine that they're probably just going to come up to the main drop, just throttle right down and just try and float through with the current.
Okay, of course, because they're made of materials like Kevlar and carbon fibre, very expensive materials, they also can be quite brittle and break when, well, I suppose any material will break under impact on rocks. So a campaign can be lost at one particular rock or rapid. So let's have a look how John Faull and Justin Ferguson, the first in the powerboats, attacks this very difficult rapid at Bell's.
You can see also one of the things that's quite difficult here, a double ski going through at the same time. They've throttled right down. They'll be hoping the guys on the ski get out of their way.
Waiting for the paddle craft to get out of the way, I think.
Very important, just from a safety perspective. They want to get through fast, but they don't want to be responsible for injuring anyone. See that gone through that relatively slow. You see that at the end, he just kicked the motor up over those rocks. They've now got to spin around back to our left and head down through the rest of what's known as the rock garden.
So far so good for John Faull and Justin Ferguson. A relatively painless exercise for them.
they'd be pretty happy with that, Tomo. They once they get to the bottom here, they know they've got the flat water ahead. They know that if they can get through this without damaging anything, then they're well on their way to winning the Avon descent.
Once they get through here, the rock garden down through the bottom part of this rapid, Darren, what's ahead of them from there?
At the bottom of this section of rapids that we can see now, you have 2 or 3 kilometres of flat water. You then get to Upper Swan Bridge. Then there's 4 or 5 kilometres of tea tree, where they'll have to pick their way down through the trees, and then it's open water all the way to the finish.
Okay, so relief for John Faull and Justin Ferguson. Okay, the leading powerboat so far, and the river is so low, they are way behind normal times in a high river. This gives you an idea of the attrition rate and how much it has slowed the craft down. There's our second boat. Now, going on the way they started on day 2, it's boat 007.
That's the Hodgkinsons, Jeff and Tom Hodgkinson. Again, weaving down through, trying to avoid the kayakers. These guys, they're a bit behind. They know they've got to make up ground. They'll be looking to go a little bit harder. Oh, we've got an overhead shot here. We've got a kayaker going down backwards. We've got
Faull and Ferguson.
They're out of the boat. They're obviously just trying to walk down. This is the very last part of the rock garden here.
Skipper almost lost his boat there for a while. Here's the Hodgkinsons in second place in boat 007.
You see there the guy in the bow of the boat signalling direction, because he can see a little bit further forward than the guy in the back, have a little bit better view of submerged rocks. Just coming up to the main drop.
Well, Darren, remarkable scenes at the finish line as the first powerboats go through Bell's Rapids. We hear reports that the first paddlecraft is nearing the finish line, and we think it's a double ski. We'll try and get some pictures through.
Here we are, it's Berglund and Nesbitt powering along,
Coming up to the finish line. Let's get some shots, and there it is. The colour of the boat, to me, looks like it is the team of John Faull and Justin Ferguson, the boat number 129 in the 10 horsepower sport category, and they are doing it so much easier on the flat water.
That's it. Once we get on the flat water, this is where it really suits these guys. They can just flatten it out, use their boat speed. We see now some 200 metres from the finish. We'll see the finishing jetty just coming into sight any moment now, just flashing past the kayak paddler.
Planing magnificently, lifting almost the boat coming out of the water entirely to get through this race without too much damage to the boat, so that it can get on the flat water and plane at such great speed. A great effort. John Faull and Justin Ferguson, congratulations. The first powerboat through, and they'll be a happy and very, very happy team. Mark Reddings is going to get over there and have a word with them, and a shake of the hands. And no doubt they'll have some stories to tell. Mark Reddings, perhaps we can get down to you and have a word with our 2 winners.
Lads, congratulations, just very quickly, John and Justin. That smile from ear to ear. Must be very happy. Yesterday was, you mentioned there was a herd of cattle in the middle of the river, but this time you've made it through safely.
Yeah, I don't know what I think the boat's pretty well totaled, but brilliant run. Just brilliant teamwork and brilliant crew.
That's something for your partner. John, how tough was it today?
How tough was it? Just exceptionally tough. Look at the boat, it's a wreck. Last night the boat was for sale, today it's totaled.
You worry about the low water levels coming into today's? Obviously that...
No, we prepared and we brought the boat for the conditions, so we weren't worried about the conditions. But that's what we brought the boat for, and you know, when you race, you've got to be prepared to total the gear.
And Justin, obviously, you're pretty relieved to be here standing with the bottle of champagne.
Yeah,
John, we heard there was some kind of bottleneck back there. Did you see anything?
No, I would imagine it was the Emu Falls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rocks and a small amount of water, and the boat design for the last couple of years has been going away from low water designs, which is a completely different design, and the boats just aren't suitable for conditions.
Well, boys, congratulations. A wonderful effort on behalf of everyone.
Thank you.
Certainly you've given us plenty of pleasure over the past 24 hours. Enjoy the rest of that champagne and the rest of the day.
There's a bottle of Moe at home. And a spa.
I've got no doubt they'll enjoy the rest of that champagne. The first team to come through in the powerboats, the team of John Faull and Justin Ferguson. Congratulations, guys.